Good morning, one and all present. I am Ridmaya Anchor, your host for the day, and we 361 Bit welcome you for the seminar Architects Beyond Design, which is under the seminar series Dimensions. So, as the name suggests, design. Throughout our life, right from our curriculum begins in our first year to the end of our career, we've been revolving around this one word design. Everything we do, everything we learn is for enhancement of this one thing called as architectural design. But there might be people like me who always have been wondering, is there anything beyond this word design? Is there anything in our field which we can specifically do, which is very much our field, yet it is not design? So to put light on such important topic, today we have a very wonderful and wise personality with us, architect Shirish Moekar. So architect Shirish Moekar has been in real estate business for around 30 years now. He's been a professor for his initial stages. He's been practicing architect for around 10 years. And recently he has been appointed as the conciliator by Conciliation Forum of Maharera. Welcome, sir. How are you doing?
Good, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. So, sir, now that we all know, the most of our audiences today are students, and they might have their own journeys. We all have our own journeys in every field. So at the beginning of this seminar, I would like you to share with us your journey as student, and then when you entered into professional life and you changed your life from design as a practicing architect to a real estate person.
Good morning, everybody. I'm happy to be here connecting with young guys. It always gives me energy and rejuvenation connecting with young people. You come with so many new ideas. New generation is so nowadays we see that the generation gap is narrowed down to 5 years, 6 years. We see so much different brains, different ideas. I'm very happy to be here. Anyway, coming back to my life, I was in Mumbai. I'm born and brought up in Bandra. And to be honest with you, I landed up in architecture by chance. I never planned to be an architect. I didn't know what is architecture. And that time in entire Maharashtra, I believe there were only 4 colleges of architecture. 3 in Mumbai, 1 in Nagpur. The competition was not that stiff. We could get admission in architecture very easily because it was not so much in demand. So I landed up in architecture, and first year was a bit struggle. After the first year, I started picking up what is architecture, and I started liking the thing. I was good at drawing. My drawing is fairly good, not bad. But drawing is not enough. For being an architect, you need a creativity, you need technical knowledge, you need so many things. I believe architecture is the only field where different skills are required. No other professional field requires so many diversified skills. My father was retired, so I started working right from the end of the first year. So my schedule used to be very tough. 7:30 to 1:30 college, come home, have a lunch. 3 to 6:30 take up a job with a senior architect. Once I come home around 7 o'clock, finish the work, little bit of leisure period, and then till 12 or 1 o'clock, finish the submissions and everything. Get up at 6 in the morning, catch college at 7:30. Life was really tough. To get money, because I didn't have enough money to buy we used to do drawings with the hand. There was no computer. So we had to buy the rotring pen. I didn't have the money. Just a minute. A phone call is coming here. I'm speaking
Sure,
from
sir.
the I'm speaking from the phone. So if the phone call comes in, I will have to get interrupted. I mean, please bear with me
Yes,
for
sir. That
this.
wouldn't be a problem, sir.
Yeah.
That's
So that is how my journey, with tough journey, went ahead. I completed my graduation. I never lost first class. First class was very rare at that time. So only 5 or 6 students in the entire class of 60 used to get a first class. So I was one of them. Um, After that, I went to JJ College of Architecture for post graduation with research, and then I started. 1 year, I took up a job, and then I started my own practice. Uh, I feel I'm fortunate enough to have a diversified experience in the real estate or architectural field. Uh, Probably very few other architects would have got such a diversified experience. From 1986, I started practicing as an architect. I joined a senior firm as an associate, and I was purely into the designing. And I have designed five-star hotels, residential complexes. I have designed theaters. I have designed industrial, commercial, everything. I mean, everything on earth. Probably, I used to do interior designing. Diversified experience in the designing. Simultaneously, I took up a job as a lecturer in Regia College of Architecture, which was previously known as Bandra School of Art. And it went on for 1996 or something like that. And so teaching plus private practice was again tough thing. 7:30 to 1:30 college, then office, reach home late. Uh, from 96, with diversified things, then during certain period in my career, I became a developer to earn more, more money. It was a purely appetite for the money. I developed 3 buildings in Mumbai. It was a tough life. Due to certain reasons, I migrated to Pune. I tried to settle myself in Pune, but architectural practice of that time wasn't the Mumbai culture, and Pune culture didn't match. I had to go back to Mumbai. I used to stay in Pune, but I used to go back to Mumbai and set up my practice again. And that practice was different nature altogether. Like it was connected with the approvals and what we call it as a liaison architect, and it was not at all connected with the design. In When I came in Pune, 2 years I tried to work with one of my classmates who was a builder here, and 2 years I worked as a project construction management, like complete stand on the side, get the construction done. So thorough experience of the construction work. So initial period teaching, initial period design, purely design, then completely construction, full exposure in the construction, procurement of material, then going back to Mumbai and going into the permissions, approval, liaison, all that sort of things. 2006, I quit because I was in Mumbai. My family was in Pune, and my work was in Mumbai. It didn't suit my life. I had a huge practice in Mumbai. I stopped in 2006, and I joined one real estate company as a director, as a consulting architect come director.
right.
Today it is known as Exerbia. So we designed a model of a low cost housing from 2006 to 2012. So 6 years I was like a consultant to a builder. We developed a new model of low cost housing, and Exerbia is today a very, very big company, well known company, building
Yes.
into low cost housing. On the day of sale, when we launched the first project, it was a record. We sold 3,500 flats in flat one day. It was so much crowd collected on a sales office. They broke the glass, the window glass. So it was a history created on that day, kind of a Sholay movie that
Right,
created
sir.
history. It was a history of that kind. From 2012 onwards, I quit that company. I built another couple of brands in real estate. To make the long story short, and
Yeah.
from there on, I am purely working as a project consultant, project advisor, marketing consultant. I have gained experience in marketing sales. So I think whatever real estate needs to know, every aspect I'm aware of. I'm fortunate enough to get that exposure and experience. I didn't stick to one aspect of it.
Right, sir, right.
Yeah.
So, sir, moving on to our next question,
Hmm.
that is the title basically of our seminar, that is Architects Beyond Design. Now, we all have been cluttered around this design thing a lot in our life.
Yep.
So, could you like put a little bit of brief light on this topic so that we can move further with the actual
Right.
questions?
See, when I joined architecture, the scene was a little different than
Yeah,
today, compared to today. What happens is that during that period, someone who was good at a drawing, drawing exam of that elementary and intermediate, that government exams were necessary for taking an admission to architecture that time.
right.
It was mandatory. So having a good hand at a drawing and creativity, and that dreaminess, and that certain, people used to with long hairs and different outfits, and you
Hippie
know
look kind of, yeah.
weird looking people used to join architecture that time. Okay, so it was seen as a different kind of a profession. And today I think there is a different, completely, it's a seen as a one of the promising career.
Sure.
And many architects, they want to groom their kids, and many builders, they want to groom their kids as an architect, or contractors. So
Right.
so what happens, during that time when I took the admission, most of the people joining the architecture completely were focused on the architectural design. So there was nothing more beyond architectural design that time. And if someone is not good at architectural design, then he is completely
A failure.
yeah, failure. And someone who is scoring high at architectural design, then he's great. Now, what I've seen later on in my last 10, 15 years of period, even during my college days, what I observed, those who were not good at the creativity or aesthetic sense, they felt that they are at a wrong place, and their confidence was at the lowest possible ebb, and they felt that they are useless in their life.
Right.
Uh, then, but that is not so. Architects can do many more things. Previously, such positions were occupied by civil engineers. They were considered to be the technical people. Civil engineering was a technical education. And slowly, which I have observed is that in last 10 years, 15 years, those positions are taken up by architects nowadays. So, there is a diversified career opportunities available for architects. People should know that there is something beyond that architectural design.
Right.
I have chosen that path.
Yes.
I devoted my first maybe 8 years of my career as a purely design architect, and then I completely diversified my career into different avenues. I think those people, those students, those who have joined architecture should know that what is available to them, and one can choose as per his or her aptitude and skills, and do many different things, I think.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Yep.
So the very first diversion that happens in our field is after our bachelor's. Some
Yep.
of us want to pursue internships, some go for jobs, some go for masters, research. There are a lot of paths. So can you like brief about how this very first diversion helps into going in different careers apart from design?
See, what happens is that I think if we talk about the professional courses, like a advocate, a law, or medical, or a chartered accountant, or a company
Right,
secretary,
sir.
and architecture. Uh, in all other courses, people learn, and that is that learning that is directly used into the practice when they start their own work, professional work.
Right, sir.
Architecture, we find that there is a big disconnect between what we study in the college and when we go out in the work. um, Something different is there, and people get baffled. uh, what you learn in 5 years and then what you do actually in career are different, and then people start losing confidence that, okay,
Yeah.
what I learned in 5 years is useless, or what, something like that. This is first challenge we need to tackle when you complete the graduation and go ahead. I think, can you start the slide? We can, so people can, our PPT, we can start describing what are the opportunities available conventionally, and then maybe we can take it from there.
The PPT is being presented. Are you able to see the PPT, sir?
One sec. How do I see the PPT?
Uh, I guess Siddhant Hande has presented the PPT. You can just pin on that.
Hold on.
Yes.
Uh, I'm sorry, I'm not as good as you guys, techno savvy.
That's okay, sir.
So, uh,
We all have really we are learning, getting used to this new mode
so,
of communication.
but I have coped up better than my other guys in my generation
Sure,
compared
sir,
to.
surely, surely.
I think it is in 361 beat or what? I didn't find something in
It is Siddhant Hande.
Siddharth Hande. Hold on.
If you're on the phone, you will see the presentation in the first four.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. So when architect completes the graduation and goes out into the practice and the professional work, what we normally tend to do is, these are the options available on the slide. Either you stick to the design, you work as a design architect. You know, these are the terminologies used in our practice. You're a
Yes.
design architect, or you are in a production team. Production team is primarily they work on uh, making the drawings. So making the working drawings is one specialized aspect.
Right.
Designing is one thing, and then bringing that designing into the reality happens through the working drawing. Unfortunately, in the small towns and small projects, in the builders projects, working drawing is not given that much importance.
Right.
I have worked on, see, I did one fast hotel in Phuket internationally, and then, you know, that scale of work, working drawing becomes very, very important. It's a prime important, because if something goes wrong in a working drawing, uh, uh, the actual construction work completely
Yes.
messed up. So this production, making the drawings from the design, which is prepared by the designing architect, is one kind of a job. Then third one is liaison architect. I don't know how many guys over here are aware of this, but this is a specialized, coveted role. People have found out that in the cities like Mumbai, Pune, and different places, maybe even in the smaller towns, uh, this specialized role people, architects, their only job is to go to the corporation, get the plans approved. That's all.
Right.
So it's like a agent, it is like a middleman, it's like a whatever you call it. But
Yeah,
then it
right.
is a specialized role that, okay, you uh, only get the approvals. All the statutory approvals, or whatever the approvals, like various approvals are required. If there is a high-rise building, then high-rise committee. If it is a environmental committee and local corporation, these, that, so many approvals are required, so many NOCs are required. All that is done by these people. Landscaping architect, I need not elaborate. People are aware of
Yes.
this.
Yes.
Interior designing, yes, I need not elaborate. And there is another class, presentation drawings. People come out with the design. They want to showcase it to the client, or client wants to showcase it to the prospective buyers, customers. Presentation is required. And then those who are good at drawings and those skills, so there are different softwares available. At our time,
Right.
it was done with the hand painting and different, spray
Mhm.
painting. Nowadays, you can work on the software.
Yes, sir.
So someone who gets a proficiency in that software, they get start working on a presentation drawings with the 3D models, revolving models, moving and top views, this and that, which are used for the presentations and brochures and all that. So these are the standard avenues available at the moment, and
Right, sir.
people choose one of these primarily when you graduate or postgraduate, when you finish your education, I believe. So if you can go to next slide.
So this presentation thing, recently it has grown as a very
Yeah,
famous startup amongst youngsters. There are many students who come up with such small scale works wherein they provide renders at cost of something.
absolutely correct.
Correct.
So see, selling now, why this has changed has happened, I tell you, because of the digital revolution.
Right, sir,
See,
right.
the marketing techniques have changed, and
Mhm.
because of that the competition has increased, because of the world is coming closer and the connectivity has
The
increased.
globalization has
Yeah,
increased.
globalization has happened, the competition is increased. Now you're sitting here, you can sell in Dubai, you can, in Exerbia, what I mentioned about, we sold 3,500 flats. That was the first time in the Indian history, I can state, people bought homes online as if you are buying something on Amazon. Someone
Wow,
sitting in
that's
Dubai, someone sitting in Kolkata, someone sitting in Delhi, someone sitting in whatnot. They logged on to the portal. They paid upfront on portal for the homes and buying homes, and they purchased the homes online without visiting site or anything like that. And that was the first time in the history, I would state. During afternoon, the portal collapsed because so many people logged onto it. We never anticipated
correct.
that there would be so much rush for online home purchasing, and the portal collapsed completely by afternoon. So see, this has brought a change in the entire marketing technique. And
Yes,
when
sir.
the marketing technique changes, your presentation becomes very important.
Right, right, right.
At our time, there was only a newspaper ad. So
Yeah,
simple, you
right.
get hold of some graphic designer, print, newspaper, finished. Now so many things are happening different way. And then you need the presentation technique. So it's really picking up. I agree with you.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we can
Uh,
move
yeah,
further.
move to the next slide. See, this project management, I'm going to elaborate on this avenue in detail later on.
Yes, sir. Sure.
This is a great opportunity for the people. I'm doing it, rather. I'll say that I'm doing the same thing at the moment. This is a great opportunity for the people, those who have got a skill inclined on technical side, and they have
Right.
come for the architecture. But they are not as good as at aesthetic sense. They are not as good as at a creativity, but they are good at technical things.
Mhm.
Okay, someone who has got a balanced and logical mind, someone who can think logically. See, I tell you the difference. Creativity and the logic cannot go together.
Okay.
You understand what I say? See, when you
Mhm.
think of a logic, then there is a set framework, there is a set
Right.
rules. You don't play beyond those rules, beyond the framework, beyond the certain boundaries.
Right,
And
sir.
creativity needs to break that. Otherwise, you cannot come out with different creative things. Let me cite an example. I'm sure you guys must have heard about Sydney Opera. Have you heard about it?
Yes. Yes, sir.
See, Sydney Opera, the competition was floated for designing, and the site was given on the land. It
Yes.
was actually on the land, and the architect, one architect, he said that no, if this kind of a structure is to be created, we need to fill up some part in the sea, and it needs to be erected in the sea and not on the land. So
Right.
he actually broke the rules. He actually went away from the brief. The brief was this is the site, and he said that no, I don't want this site. I want something else. Do this. And believe me, I mean, we have to believe he won the competition. He changed the site completely.
Yeah,
He,
right.
he created a small island in the sea by filling the soil and a rock and everything. And the Sydney Opera is constructed on that, completely breaking the rules. So, where is the logic? No logic.
Right.
So, someone who is at high creative mind may not be good at technical things. Someone who is
Right.
good at technical things may not be having highly creative abilities. So those people who keep on struggling about, they feel that no, I'm not that great, but I'm good at technical side is great for that. I'll elaborate once we go on to that.
Yes, sir.
Another
Right.
thing is finance. See, I have come across some positions. I know one architect who is an architect and he has done MBA in finance.
Wow. Yes.
And I met him about 15 years back. And he was holding a very high position in one of the finance company. And now he is moved ahead in his career. And then I found that, okay, there is one of my students who is working in a finance company in Mumbai. Milestone is the name. And so many in finance. See what happens. Someone who is having a there is some disturbance. Can someone mute his mic? You know, there is a someone has got a. Is it at your end or what? Oh my God, sorry. You have to unmute yourself. Okay, fine. Uh, so in finance, what happens? Any business, any damn business works to success or goes to failure, all that depends on the finance management. It's all commercial. And someone with a technical background, chief finance officer is one post held in all large companies. CFO is always there. He manages the finance of that company. The companies which are related to real estate work, if they put a finance guy without having a domain knowledge, without having a knowledge of real estate field, the domain knowledge can go wrong, but someone with a technical knowledge like an architect or a civil engineer with the knowledge of finance can do much, 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 much better than someone who is having a knowledge of only finance and not having a knowledge of domain. That has been realized, and people holding positions in finance, always it is preferred that architect with MBA finance or civil engineer with MBA finance is highly in demand. So this is one. Then we see the asset management. I'm not spending more time on elaborating all that, but maybe I'm just will just run through the options. Asset management. See, many companies have different assets. I'll give you an example. Now, there is a company like Edelweiss. They are into investments and finance, and Edelweiss is a large, huge company. They are the broker firms and huge work in finance. Now, they have NBFC license, non-banking finance corporation license. They have got branches all over India. premises, either rented or bought, or and there are offices, staff seats there. Now, all these assets held by this company of their own, either rented or need to be managed. There is a documentation, there is a legal documentation, rental documentation, maintenance, AC maintenance, these, that. So many things are there. They need a person who knows the technical things. In architecture, we study how air condition works. In architecture, we see why the leakage is there. In architecture, we are good at interior planning, the layout. So many things. And this kind of a person with the technical knowledge, if he sits on the top of the asset management, he does the better job. Earlier, civil engineers were getting appointed on such jobs. Nowadays, last 10 years, I see architects are taking position of asset management. Another one is a facility management. Facility management is a department in large companies. It is similar to asset management, but it is little beyond asset management. Facility, like who will sit where? There is little bit of when you start doing the sitting arrangement or interior designing of that layout, you need to know how the departments work. If there are 100 people sitting on one floor in one office, which department coordinates, I mean, how the work flows. If it is a finance company, which department will do what kind of work, and accordingly that, where is his boss will sit, where the staff will sit, which department will sit next to what department, where the printer will be placed, where the computer, where the server. So many things are there. And that is called as a facility management. And this concept of facility management is very much prevalent in Western countries, large companies in America. Slowly it is percolating to India. Large companies in India too need this facility management department. Architects are best suited for this. Construction management. Construction management is a purely execution of the construction. Drawings are supplied to you, working drawings. You procure the material, you manage the labor contractors. As per the drawings, as per the schedule, you complete the work, manage the quality, billing, vouchers, purely construction. There is nothing beyond it. Couple of years when I was in Pune and I built about 5 lakh square feet standing on the site day and night. So if there is a concreting going on, you have to stand there. What is the problem? Simple problems are there. First, second year students, fourth year students. I think now you guys are aware of RCC mix, concrete, right? A lot of work is done in concrete. What happens is that to mix the metal, stone, sand, and cement, we pour the water into it. Now this water is mixed, reacts with the cement, exothermic reaction, and that builds the strength. Afterwards, it hardens and it becomes a concrete. And then the slab or beam or, we cast concrete like that. To become the mixing, to make the mixing easier, the labor standing on the side puts more water into that. So it becomes easier for them to work around. If the water is more, the cement flows out of the crevices of the formwork along with the water. And if the water flows away, you lose the strength. So when you are standing on a concreting slab, you need to be very careful about the water cement ratio. And you have to be strictly working on that. And such points to maintain the proper quality, you need to know what are the construction techniques, what are the flaws, what you need to know the material, you need to know the technicalities of that and get the work done. Then there is a management of the schedule, procure the labor contractors, procure the laborers, where they are going wrong. So many things are there. So it is a highly technical thing. Architects are best suited to do construction management.
Right, right. So, before we move further into details of finance and management
Mhm.
throughout, I would like you to brush up on a few topics. So, firstly, there is this new fields coming up in architecture. Like people turn towards architectural journalism, or there is photography, product management in architecture,
True.
designing of interior products and all. So, can you like brief about the scope in these fields?
Sure. Do we have a slide on that, or I have to just say?
I'm not sure we have a slide
No,
on that.
no, we don't have.
No, no,
No,
no, we don't.
see, a couple of my students, uh, I know one student, she is editor of one magazine,
Right, right.
which is on architectural. Some
Yes.
people are working on conservation architecture.
Yeah, right, right.
In fact, I have worked on conservation architecture as well. I was
Yes.
appointed as a conservation architect for Mathiran Heritage Conservation Committee for about
Mm-hmm.
7 years. I held that post. So,
Right.
conservation architect, journalism, photography, and
Mm-hmm.
but I would put photography as a part of the marketing work.
Right, right.
It is a kind of a marketing work. So the point is what huge opportunities available. Now you have to use your creativity in finding your own path.
Yeah, right.
As much you would use your creativity in designing a home and bungalow and whatever. So
Right,
you can
right.
use that creativity in finding your own path. You have to be more creative about it. No, this. In fact, I will say that journalism.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, I have worked as a journalist for Mumbai Sakal newspaper for 4 years in Mumbai.
Right, right.
See, where is architecture? Where is that? Nothing, no, not related at all.
Truly,
But
truly.
being an architect, I can promise you, then being an architect, I found myself more intelligent than
Mm-hmm.
my fellow journalist
Right.
in tracking the events. I
Mm-hmm.
was fortunate enough to witness with my own eyes one encounter done by the police. I've seen it with my own eyes. And I covered that story with photographs, everything in Mumbai Sagale in 1989. Now, along with that, I have been writing some articles in even
Mm-hmm.
today in a newspaper on social media, which educate people about how to purchase the flats, what kind of care you need
Mm-hmm.
to take while studying the project, how you need to read the agreements, how you
Right.
need to measure. So many things are there for people to get educated about because they
Right.
don't know. And there is so much of cheating in buying homes and builder cheats. So many things are there.
Yes, sir. Truly.
Now, as an architect, I am holding a position on a conciliation forum of Maharera.
Mm-hmm.
So it is like a judge. It is not exactly like a judge, but for you guys visualization, it is like a judge kind of a bench. So
Mm-hmm.
me and my co-consultant, we sit, we hear the problems, we solve the problems, and uh, I have recently solved one project which was stuck completely. 550 customers were stuck. No sight of completion of the project and hard-earned money going into the drains.
Yeah.
Uh, all problems solved. Construction work has started, and in 6 months, people will get their homes.
Amazing,
Now,
amazing.
see, this kind of a social responsibility. If I was not architect, I couldn't have probably solved this problem
Right.
without being an architect.
Mm-hmm.
You can sky's the limit. I tell you, architecture is a kind of field where
Truly.
we have a technical knowledge, we have creativity, we have a aesthetic sense. We study history, we study construction, we study materials, we study professional practice. We study acts and laws and whatnot. I mean,
Yeah.
no other professional field I can think of which gives or which requires so much of a diversified skills, or we are
Yeah, right.
imparted with that kind of a skill in our course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, like, put it short, I'll say architecture is where you don't get a lot of money, but you can make a lot of money.
very true. Rightly
Right.
said.
Yes, sir.
Rightly said.
So apart from this whole money thing, there is one more thing which is mostly we can call it as our duty to the society. That is research and development, which helps further in the development of society. So, like every other field, there is this sector of research and development in architecture also. But
True.
there are rarely people who want to do it out of interest. Majorly, if people do it, it is because they like just went further with their life and they want to become professors or something like that. It is not as into limelight as it is in other pure sciences or technical fields. So would you like to put light on that topic a little bit?
See, there is a little different problem for that field,
Yeah,
because
right.
what happens after architecture, you cannot do your PhD. There is a problem.
Mhm.
Because see, if you want to do PhD in a Mumbai university or in a Pune university,
Mhm.
you have to come out with some kind of a new invention. I mean, PhD is always done on that. Now in
Inventions, right.
architecture, we cannot invent anything. How you will invent a
Mhm.
new design? No, there is nothing scope for that. So there is
Yes.
a little problem for the architects to go into the PhD kind of a education after graduation.
Right, right.
And more importantly, in India, all over
Mhm.
India, if we look at our 1,000 years of history, we Indians are not at all good at inventing anything. That is our drawback. That is our lacuna.
Maybe that lacuna has come up recently because we have a lot of miracles that have been invented and created in the history. There is some change in the mankind that has led to this lacuna, I believe.
I hope we progress in that and we start inventing things in
Yes, surely,
India,
surely.
and definitely architects can play a
Truly,
good
sir,
role in
truly,
that.
truly. Like me, there are many noobs here who are not really aware about what real estate is, or might have heard the word or have half knowledge about real estate. So, before talking about real estate, could you introduce us to the real character of real estate? What real estate is all about?
See, today, real
Yeah.
estate is majoritarily a builder's work. Let's be honest about it. Uh, uh, it builder started. I mean, this builder community came into existence somewhere in
Mhm.
70s in Mumbai first.
Right, right.
Before that, people used to come together,
Mhm.
form a society, buy a land, and build their building in big cities, or in smaller cities, buy land and build their own house. Get hold of
Right.
a contractor, architect, and all that. Now, this builder community existence has changed the complete dynamics of the entire real estate industry. And you guys must be aware that building industry as a whole contributes, I don't know the exact number, but in a huge way to the Indian economy. So if building industry goes down, it affects the entire Indian economy, and it
Right.
brings the Indian economy down. And majority of this economy, the majority of this building industry is occupied by builders
Mhm.
all over India, in major cities mainly. Now what happens? A new role has started emerging. Earlier, when I graduated, an architect used to do each and every kind of a role, one person.
Right.
What we see in a developed country like America, there is a specialized role. Someone who is
Mhm.
specialized in something, he doesn't do beyond that. For
Right.
example, if just a minute, a call was coming in, so I had to disconnect that. I'm sorry. Just a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute.
Sure, sir.
Okay. So, where I was? If I give you an example,
Yeah.
if a table is to be manufactured, one carpenter will create the top, create the drawers, create the legs. In a different way of making it, there will be three carpenters. One carpenter is only making the legs, another carpenter is only making the drawers, and the third carpenter is making only the framework, and
Right.
then it is assembled. See this work, because he's only making the legs, his efficiency goes very high, because he's only making the legs. He's becoming expert in that making, and his hands are completely into that. Now this has started working in an efficient manner, because then you develop an expertise in a certain field, and you stick to that, and then you don't do the diversified roles. You get an expertise and you stick to that. That is what is coming up
Right, right, right.
now in the entire real estate industry. Completing a project from end to end is not only the construction. There are so many aspects. Okay, and an entity that gets an expertise into completing that project from end to end has emerged and started getting importance in last 5 years. It is
Yes.
primarily called as a DM model. D as in Delhi, M as in Mumbai model. D stands for development, M stands for management, and it is a development management model. I'll give an example. For example, there is a builder in Mumbai who has got a project. He has already tied up the land and procured the land and everything. Now he appoints us another firm, another company, who is good at only the execution, and that company at a fee, they are not part of the profit or loss. They will execute the project, and the profit and loss is borne by the builder. If it is an industry, suppose someone has to put up a plant, a factory or something like that, or someone has to put up a hospital. There is no financial interest or profit or loss. But then that company gets hold of this kind of a project management company who help them, hand holding, help them from A to Z, complete process. And I see a huge opportunity for architects doing that particular work. Presently, I am doing this work, so I can maybe elaborate more on that. So if you can go to the next slide, because I'm seeing the clock, I think we need to rush a bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if we go
Cut,
to the
cut
next
short.
slide, yeah, cut short. See how it starts. I think we will push this. Please skip the slide. I think we'll skip this slide and we'll go to the next slide straight away.
Sure.
Looking at a watch. So what project management has to do? It starts from a property identification. At times, there will be property identified already, and then project management company comes in a picture. But at times, a company comes to project management company, a client comes to them, and they need to identify the land. For example, it is a hospital, and some hospital company comes and say, okay, we need to build a hospital. Then you start identifying the property. What area, what location, is it suitable for hospital or not? A financer comes to you and they say, okay, I got 100 crores and I need to start a real estate business. Find a property for me, find a project for me. So sometimes it starts with that. Sometimes a ready property comes to you. Once that property is identified or property comes to you, there is a legal documentation. You need to check the title. If the title of the property along with the advocate, normally it is advocate's job, but architects play a huge role into that. I can say that today I know about the legality of the title and everything as much as any advocate knows. So I'm well equipped with that out of an experience.
Amazing, inspirational.
So
Yeah, right.
I know the Amharera Act better than any other advocate probably because I'm working into it. So
Yes.
getting that knowledge and working on that legal documentation is again a very important aspect, because if things go wrong there, entire project is going to get stuck. Then the legal documentation doesn't stop there. There are so many contracts. The landowner is one, the developer is one. There, if there is a directly purchase of the land, then it is simple document. But if
Right.
there is a joint venture, the partnership or something like that, then there is a company law comes in a picture. Then company needs to be created. Then there is a shareholding of the company. Then there is a shareholders agreement. So legal documentation is a really complex thing where if a funding is coming from abroad,
Yeah.
then there are different rules how they can bring the funding, how the bank account is open, who will operate the bank account, who are the
Right.
directors, who are the signatories. So many things are there, and the project management company needs to oversee. They need to appoint the professionals like law firm and this and that, but they
Right.
need to oversee that things are done in a proper way. And for that you need to have the basic knowledge. You may not be expert in that, but you need to have basic knowledge of that. Next, can we go to the next slide? Yeah, thank you. Then you go to the feasibility. You need to prepare the basic feasibility. What is the cost
Right.
of the land? What are the other costs? If there is a sale in the property, then how much return you are expecting? Then there is a finance cost, then this cost, that cost. So preparing a rough feasibility is one aspect.
Right. Right.
Uh, then very important is identification of a product. If it is not a hospital, if it is not a kind of a theater or a something like that, which is going to be used by the owner himself. If it is a builder kind of a project where the commercial offices are built, mall is built, if
Right. Right.
the apartments are built, and they are needed to be sold, you need to know if the two-bedroom hall kitchen kind of a flat. I'm just coming to the direct example.
Yeah.
Two-bedroom hall kitchen of a flat will be in demand, or four-bedroom hall kitchen flat will be in demand, or one-room kitchen flat will be in a demand. If two-bedroom hall kitchen flat of 120 square meter area will be in demand, or 140 square area will be in demand, or 100 square meter. So see composition of this product. What are their needs? What are the specifications? Wrong product at right place, or right product at wrong place. Failure of the project.
Yeah. Totally.
Many of the projects we see failing when the product is not identified correctly, and
Right.
we go completely haywire in that.
Surely. Surely.
Yeah. So next. Then you need to appoint architects. Now you are an architect, but you are managing the work, so you need to appoint the architects, complete the final drawings, get the approvals done, get hold of that liaison architect which I mentioned in earlier. Get hold of that kind of a person, get all the approvals done. That is a process. Next. Then what is important is workflow and cash flow chart.
Right.
Based on your feasibility and final feasibility, what you need to do is final costing, and month wise, every month, what work will be carried out, what money is required, when the payment is required, what kind of from where the money is going to come. If that is not put in a place, I've seen many projects going into the drain, where on the paper there is a huge profit of 100 crores seen on the paper, But today, to pay the contractor, there is no money. It gets stuck in the cash flow.
Right.
Today, he doesn't have money. When the project is completed, he will get 100 crores profit. But today, there is no money. So working this and managing that cash flow and workflow is very important.
Right.
So, project management company needs to do that. Then is a marketing and sales. People many times confuse marketing and sales as one. It is not. Marketing is different. Sales is different. Okay. Marketing is you present to prospective buyers is a marketing. Selling is actual selling. Both are different things.
Right.
Okay. You need to get a hang of that.
Sir, before we move further, I had a question. I mean, not a question, but there is this thing happening in the industry. We came up during discussions a few days later with my colleagues that if a particular building or a particular house is maybe built at a price of 20 lakhs, like the total cost of building that house, but then it is sold at a really higher price. So where is that lacuna that we're, because it is maybe sold at 80 lakhs or something like that. There is this huge difference of around 60 to 70 lakhs. So is it like really necessary, or is it some lacuna in the total system we have to work on?
Very good question. Very good. I mean, this is where India is standing at the moment.
Yeah, right.
See, there are two reasons for this. Two reasons. Market is usually driven by demand and supply. If the demand is high and supply is low, the supply becomes costlier. If the demand is low and supply is high, supply becomes cheaper. Okay. So what has happened is huge migration from the rural areas to the cities, and the demand of the houses in the cities have gone up so much that demand and supply ratio has gone completely berserk. And then the prices have started going up. That is one reason. The number two reason, when there is a chaos in the system, you have got a chance to make a huge money.
Yes, right.
If the system is properly built and foolproof, the profit margin is minimized. When the system is working properly, then the risks are reduced because everything is in a proper place.
Right.
When the system is not working properly, then the risk becomes very high. If the risk is high, you need more profit to cover that risk. I'll give you an example. Our government's role comes in a picture. My battery is low. Can I hold for a minute? I will get a battery backup. What?
Yes,
That,
yes.
I'll put
Sure,
that
sir.
and remove the headphones and give me 1 minute.
Yes, sir, sure. So by the time, I would like to inform you all that if you have any questions, we're coming to the end of the seminar. So if you all have any questions, you can put them in the chat box so that we can filter the right questions and we can take up the questions at the end. Also, till then, as we have time now, you can stay connected to us via different social media platforms to 361-bit. Yeah, I guess sir is back, so we'll resume with the seminar.
So, see what happens. Government policies are so bad.
Right.
I'll give you an example of Pune, how bad it is. Suddenly, one day, they came out with a rule that all the buildings in Pune need no objection certificate or clearance certificate from Ministry of Defense, because the new airport is coming up and they identified 2-3 military centers like National Defense Academy, NDA, existing airport and new airport.
Right.
And so already the permissions are given to the buildings,
Mm-hmm.
but further permissions are not uh, were kept on held because of the Ministry of Defense NOC. Now this rule came in a picture,
Mm-hmm.
but the efficient system at the MOD, Ministry of Defense, to
Mm-hmm.
issue timely NOCs consents was not in place.
Right,
So
sir.
for about 10 months, everything was kept
Yes,
on
sir.
hold.
I'm
So
from Pune myself. I've seen this happen
so
myself. Right.
stupid. It is a stupid thing done by the government that you enforce something, you give a permission, then you stop, then enforce. My goodness. So this puts the entire system at a risk. To
Mm-hmm.
cover that risk, the profit needs to be higher. So margins need to
Right.
be higher.
Yes,
So if
yes,
the
yes.
system is properly, disciplined and is a perfect system, you can work with the lower margins. So what we need to do is government needs to improve. We need
Right.
to improve as a people, and we unfortunately we are at a very bad state, and
Yeah, right.
that the more the chaos, more the confusion, more the chance for the making money, and there is a corruption and whatnot. So this is all
Right, right.
driving the high prices. Very more important thing is that builders are looting. That is our feeling, right? Builders are looting
Mm-hmm.
people. That is our general feeling.
Right.
People are not aware. Government is also looting us.
Okay.
They collect huge kind of taxation from the real estate. Uh, to give a short note on that,
Mm-hmm.
they collect a land. I will give an example. A
Mm-hmm.
land is tied up by a builder with a partnership with the landowner.
Yeah, right.
So there is a stamp duty. Landowner, whatever he earns, he pays stamp GST on that. Then he pays long-term or short-term capital gain tax on that and income tax
Mm-hmm.
on that.
Right, right.
Then builder pays the stamp duty.
Mm-hmm.
Then builder, when he gets the approvals, he pays huge kind of premiums, which you must have read in newspaper that it has been slashed by 50%. Huge amounts of premiums and fees to the local corporation and government.
Mm-hmm.
Then there is a cost which is every day increasing. Steel, cement, its cost is just going up because the
Right.
taxation is going up.
Taxes.
Then builder pays GST on whatever purchases and contracting is done. Then there is a stamp duty on purchases of the flats. And then whatever the profit is made by the builder, he pays income tax on that. You
Right.
see, every step, government is collecting something from the. So if you pay 6,000 rupees a square foot for a flat,
Mm-hmm.
I believe around 2,000, little around 2,000 is going into the taxation to the government. About one third.
Oh my
It
God.
is a huge money extracted by government by way of this or way or that way. So
Right, right.
this entire system is come to the. It has become junk. Someone at the top needs to revamp the whole thing and
Right, right.
do something about it.
Yes. I surely believe we need ethical education right from school so that we can grow better as a society further.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Can we go
So,
next? Right.
yeah.
Then there is a commencement of construction, and one which we described as a construction management comes here, and then there is a completion and a handover. That is also a task. Like when you complete, and then there is a documentation, statutory compliances, and all that needs to be done. Then company closure, taxation closure, everything, and then the project is complete. Now, project management company has to do all this. They take a fee and they do all this. As an architect, I run similar company. I do similar work,
Mm-hmm.
and many more companies are doing similar work, and they are getting prominence in the real estate market nowadays. And I think we are at the end.
Yes, yes. I
So
suppose the presentation.
yeah. So
Yes.
I think we have overrun the time by 10 minutes. I think we had kept 1 hour for this discussion in my mind. And
Yes.
I know I was a lecturer in college that I know the after 1 hour of listening, the concentration starts going down and people start getting bored and little bit of
No, sir, but it was really inspirational. It was not at all boring. No worries about that. So we can take up a few questions that
yeah, yeah.
came up in the chat. Yeah. So in near future, what type of changes can be observed in terms of bylaws in real estate industry?
See, you have mentioned about bylaws. Recently, Unified Development Control Regulations have come in force in Maharashtra, except Mumbai. So at
Yes.
least there is some uniform regulations that are implemented across Maharashtra.
Mm-hmm.
Now another change has been brought by implementation of RERA.
Mm-hmm.
It is specifically created for the regulation and development of the real estate industry. But sadly to say, it has been only effectively implemented in Maharashtra and not in other states.
Yes.
So if you look at India as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
we are in a completely disarray.
Yeah.
The planning, the development plan, I don't see there is any comprehensive policy. There is an
Mm-hmm.
comprehensive view taken in that direction. We are
Mm-hmm.
moving slowly, but it is so slow. I'm sure I will not see till the end of my life something good happening in this industry.
Yeah. We're
What do
working
you
in
guys
very
think?
bits and pieces
Yeah,
throughout
bits and
India.
pieces, nothing cohesive. So
Yes.
it is a very sad to say, but the situation is pathetic.
Yes. Yes. Uh, any more questions from the audience?
I think it was whatever I said gone tangent to most of the people.
No, sir,
So, or
that
it has
won't be the case, I'm
intersected
sure.
here or gone away or a little bit of tangent or
This is a very complex topic to understand, I guess.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
very complex and
Yes, yes.
covering that, giving an overview in 1 hour is not that easy. And I think most of the people are from first and second year, as you had told me.
No, no. We have seniors also.
Okay,
We have a few pass outs also in the meet.
okay.
Sir,
So,
I was
So there
having
is.
one question.
Uh,
I was also having one question. Can I put it forward? Sir, actually, what we seek about the sustainability and the other stuffs which are coming through, like the ecological ways or the ways in which we can benefit the environment too. These are not actually compulsions, but can we see it as a compulsion in next 15 to 20 years
see, we
as a
need to do.
compulsion of
We
everything?
need to do. I tell you, we are still with that conventional RCC kind of a technology.
right,
We
right, right.
pull down that building after 30, 40 years, go for the redevelopment and reconstruct. All
Mm-hmm.
RCC becomes a debris.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Truly, truly.
Now, you guys may start following me on Quora. I write a lot on a Quora, Marathi Quora more often. And I always stated that we need to look beyond our conventional technology of the construction
Right.
and help the environment and create the less debris. And when we use the bricks,
Mm-hmm.
bricks are made from the soil, which is a superficial that good part of the soil. And
Yeah.
wherever we dug the soil for the brick making, that entire land is useless for the cultivation ever.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So all this debris, all this creating dust and creating breaks, but see, our mindset, people's mindset is what? If the wall is not made of,
Uh, host, could you please mute Vaishali?
thank you.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah.
Uh, uh, what I
Yeah,
was
so
saying.
the debrief, we
Huh.
reduce the impact.
See, our mindset, if we suggest that instead of bricks, you make the dry walls. I hope you guys have heard about the dry walls.
Yes.
Okay, which is not made of the paneling and that is all dry walls.
Yes, yes, yes.
तो लोगों का कहना क्या होता है, मजबूत नहीं है, What kind of
Right.
strength you want, man? Okay,
Right, sir.
what strength? I mean, you need a protection from the weather, wind, sun, and someone entering into the home. But they need majbuti. They need majbuti means brick wall. I feel very strong. I remember I was walking through an exhibition, and they were showing me the mixer grinder manufactured by Crompton, and they
Okay.
told me that the motor used for this mixer is same motor as used in the fan. You can run the fan for 24 hours, so it is as strong as that. So I said, but I don't have to use the mixer 24 hours at all. So I don't need that strength. Why you are giving me that? So
Truly.
but see, this is the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
False notions of the strength given by the
Right,
brick wall, and we need to now architects. Architects can come out and educate people. This is the big
right,
role.
sir. Right, right.
Okay,
So,
what harm we are doing
yes,
to the
sir.
environment?
Mhm. But as I have observed, that sustainability comes at a really higher cost. It is
Hmm.
not really feasible for middle class people. That is what I have observed. Like on a larger scale, whatever appliances we have right now, whatever systems we have right now for implementation, there are a little flaws, financial flaws, economical lacunas that need to be covered up. So do
True.
you really believe that way? So we need to like reduce the distance between actual sustainability and the economy of our country, like the normal economy which we have in general.
But then when it is a chicken and egg situation,
Yeah,
because there
right.
is no
True.
demand,
Demand, there is no
there is
supply.
no, it is not available at a reasonable price. And
Yes, yes,
because it
yes.
is not available at a reasonable price, there is no demand.
Mhm.
So someone has to move forward and say that, okay, I want to do this even if,
Yes, yes.
and when the demand, I mean, it is a chicken and egg situation. Like,
Yes, yes. Surely it's we architects who can move forward and educate people about it. So we'll move forward to a question. This might be in the mind of many. There is this new law passed by Supreme Court wherein you can practice without being a registered architect. So what do you
very
like feel
sad,
about it?
very
Yeah.
sad. And Council of Architecture needs to be more active. Government needs to be more
Mm.
active. I don't know how Supreme Court thinks about it, and it's
Yes,
very
yes.
sad. It is very it is putting more chaos to the already chaotic situation.
Yes, yes,
To be
truly,
honest,
truly.
what is the meaning of 5 years education then?
Truly, sir, truly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's very sad. That is the way India works. We have to struggle and work in the current
Yes,
environment.
sir. So the next question is, what are the current ups and downs in the real estate market? The major ups and downs.
See, it is going on a downtrend at the moment. We are going
Mm-hmm.
into a measure of fuel of industry, which I've seen in my entire career is three ups and downs. This is the fourth, and I don't see it will come back to. It will come to its practical level. It will come to the practical. It was impractical at a
Mm-hmm.
few years back. Nature, the way Corona hit nature, us
Yeah.
all, I think the economy also tries
Yes.
to strike a balance, and I don't see it will flourish. It will be flourishing as it was about 10 years back anymore. Any time here
Yes.
afterward.
Yes. Truly. So the next question is, our field is considered very fancy generally in the people. It is more like hiring an architect is not a very middle class thing, which we see generally. So how can we cope up with that? Because society needs architects. It is a very important part of the whole building industry. And if we give that job to somebody else who is not really educated in that field, it might create a very chaotic situation, like you said, in the throughout system. And there are some hindrances by Council of Architecture that architects shouldn't advertise. So how can
Yeah.
we reduce that gap again?
See, it is not possible. It is. You see, it comes from different mindset of Indian society.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll give an example.
Mm-hmm.
A very different example. There is one company called as a Raw Pressery operating somewhere in near Mumbai, Panvel. They produce juices which are cold pressed. When the juice is extracted from a fruit with a conventional manner where the grinding and everything happens, because of the heat created in that juice making, lots of vitamins and antioxidants are lost.
Right.
Okay, so there is one kind of a conventionally manufactured juice produced by Tropica and Real and all that. The bottle is available at 60 rupees. And then there is a raw pressery company which is having one of the best cold press machine where all the extracts are preserved because of the manufacturing technique, but the same juice is available at, say, double the price or higher the price.
Right.
Now 99%, 95% population is buying the cheaper juice because it is cheap, but not worrying about how much valuable antioxidants and vitamins which are preserved or not preserved compared to the cold pressing which is done by the raw pressery.
Right.
So acceptance of that higher cost for higher benefits is not easy for the mindset of Indian people. Second example. Now there are cars. We all buy cars, people buy cars. Now there is a car, a certain model comes 1 lakh cheaper without airbags. And there is another car which comes with that model comes with the airbags, which is a security and safety feature, and 1 lakh higher cost.
Right.
1 lakh cheaper without airbags is sold most than because people say 1 lakh and they forget the safety.
Right.
See, this mindset of Indian people, I want to say, penny wise, pound foolish is the saying. So I want to save penny and lose pound. 1 pound is a British currency. So I want to save 1 rupee and lose 100 rupees. That kind of thing. But unknowingly, I'm okay if I lose 100 rupees. But knowingly, if I save 1 rupee, I'm very happy. So this culture in the entire Indian mindset and society is very difficult to change overnight. And it starts with education at the school.
School level, right.
And the very sad part is someone who cannot do any other job becomes a school teacher.
Right, sir, right.
In fact, that school teacher, primary school teacher, must be highly qualified, highly paid, and highly selected.
Right.
It doesn't happen that way because that is where you put a culture, develop a culture in the minds of the students. And we all have grown into that culture, isn't it?
Yes.
Paisa bachao, saving karo. Achha, saving at what cost? Never think.
Never.
So if that is the mindset of the Indian society, it is not different than why to pay architect his fees. Contractor को ही बोलते हैं चला लेंगे.
Right.
So it's very difficult. It's very difficult unless we change the entire culture of the society. So
we can say Indian mindset is more about quantitative benefits rather than qualitative benefits.
Absolutely correct. And it starts with the schooling. It starts, if I jump a signal, I stay in Pune, na?
Yes.
If a person jumps the signal, then he's great.
Right.
Okay, because you see, I've broken the rule. Nobody can do anything to me. See, it's all rotten. I mean, what to do?
Yes. Yeah.
I travel on the expressway. People come in reverse direction. In Pune, people drive in reverse direction. See, that is a mindset we have as Indian.
Right.
So expecting that people value the architectural education is too far. I believe.
Yeah. It's all about the root education, I guess, most of the things. So here we come to the end of this seminar. Thank you, sir. It was very inspirational. Talking to you, we got to know a lot of things from you, and we hope that there are a lot of expected changes in the field, and people turn to all of these finance and management fields after your inspirational words. All those who think they might not be standing in the creative field. I would like Mohit Barapatre, our founder, to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrunmayee. It was a great seminar to be a part of. I would like to thank our guest, Architect Shirish Mulekar, for taking out the precious time from your busy schedule and showering us with your knowledge and experiences.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrunmayee, for being a wonderful anchor for seminar.
Thank you.
And thank you, Aditya, for a great hosting. Thank you, audience, to participate in seminar and their questions. And last but not the least, special thank to our managing team who invested their time to make this seminar successful.